Fuck it, Brad, you do the intro.
Why would I do the intro? That's the crazy. Have you seen the intros of my videos? That's the craziest idea ever.
Have you watched my videos? They're terrible. They're terrible.
No kidding. How do I still work on this channel?
Brad's on a whiskey journey, come along and see. Brad's discovering whiskey, follow his odyssey.
So, big shout out to David Kramer in Toronto for hooking us up with this Bunnahabhain Moine Oloroso. 60.1% ABV.
And it was pulled from 7 Oloroso casks only. So there's not much of this around, right? There's super limited. What was this? Limited release from a particular year or something?
I think
like
2017.
That? 2017
or 2018.
That I'm not sure.
Okay.
One of the two. I'm pretty sure it was 2017 though.
Cool.
No, 2018 because the 20. Why can't I think? I'm pretty sure because the next one after was the Moine Bordeaux, which is a current bottling.
Yeah, I have one back here.
Nice. Yeah. So and that's what year is that one from?
That was the current. Like it came out in December or something. I want to say.
So this is definitely 2017 then.
So this was the one prior. Okay.
Yeah. So definitely 2017.
Yeah. So I don't know about y'all, but peat and sherry is one of those just magical combinations. If I see those two together in a whiskey bottle, chances are high that I'm going to be very pleased. So, and of course, this one's been talked up quite a bit by all kinds of people. Roy loved it. He named it, was it Whiskey of the Year or something like that?
I believe so, yes. Or at the very least, I think it was like in the top 2, 1 or 2 placing.
Mm.
So you're saying this is good? Okay, that's
how good is it though?
So they tell me.
So we'll find out on the good scale in a little while here. I'm sure. How good it is.
Have you established a scale? Actually, is that a thing yet?
It's a growing scale. I think everything I've rated so far has had a different rating, so the scale is tricky to nail down.
The Brad scale is fluid.
It is.
That's what you're saying. Mm.
It does apparently include 0.5s though, because there's an all right and a half.
All right and a half. That's right. Well, this is definitely better than all right and a half.
Oh,
yeah.
Even just on the nose.
On the nose, it gets. It's very toffee and like dried fruit, which would of course be expected from something that's an Oloroso cask.
Sure.
But there's like a rich, like a dense fudginess about the nose as well.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite words ever in whiskey is fudginess.
Fudginess, yeah.
So good.
Like it's like super dense and rich. Like if you if you had it physically in your hand would just drop.
Thus is the density of the fudge.
It's like the center of a black hole. It's everything.
just weight and heft to the fudge.
But it's so just round and it's like very like the peat's there, but it's not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's I hate that. I just said yeah, no. So do I mean yeah or no?
That's a Toronto thing right there.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Is it really?
That's a very Canadian and or sort of Midwestern thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, or no, yeah. No, absolutely.
But I know what you mean. It's the peat is there. You can tell that this is a peated whiskey, but it is not so much at the forefront as like the toffee, the chocolate, the dried fruits. That it kind of takes a back seat almost. The peat and the smoke is kind of an undercurrent to the whole thing, at least on the nose anyway.
Yeah. Are you guys getting like a a musty cigarette note.
Like ashy, but like, what do you mean? Something like a cigarette that's gotten wet?
No, not like a cigarette. More like you walk into a house of a smoke of like a 20-year smoker.
So like stale, kind of sunk into the
so like an old chair that's in their smoking room or whatever. I can sort of get that.
Yeah, I can see that, where it's like you can tell there's smoke there, but it's not like fresh and in your face. It's been sort of subdued.
It's old smoke.
Right. No, I see exactly what you mean. So how in the world? I've been holding on to this sample forever. What? Brad brought it down
in October. I think he brought it down, right?
Yeah. So it's been sitting here untouched, mind you. I have the utmost self-control.
Not really. Yeah, but you do. I've seen the levels of the bottles that I brought back from your house.
Yeah, me and Brad have had our samples for quite a bit longer, and I've been waiting. I drank a little bit of it, but I've been waiting for this to happen since we started the channel, and you got your own sample.
Yeah, there's such a.
Go ahead.
There's such a like richness and complexity, yet a balance, right? Like, I don't feel like it's overly sweet. I don't feel like it's overly peated or smoky. All of those things are in sort of a nice coexistence with each other.
Yeah.
On the nose.
And you're almost getting like a bit of that Bunnahabhain 12 characteristic peeking through. It's almost like you know where it started, almost like if you've had Bunnahabhain 12. Like I get like a little bit of that, like a little bit of salt, a little bit of vanilla caramel, just kind of like hanging out there.
Yeah, I always get with the Bunnahabhain 12, it reminds me of, not only do I get a very sort of fresh oaky thing, but also a cherry vanilla.
A cherry vanilla.
Yeah, and I get, it's definitely, again, a backseat flavor here, but...
like all the flavor, there's not a lot of like super dominant flavors. There's a lot of small, robust... If that small and robust, like, yeah, sure, why not? Just contradict yourself. Like, there's a lot of small, strong flavors that is like this, and they just all mingle with each other really nicely.
Yeah.
It's just like you, Vito. It's small and robust.
It's very cohesive. Nothing like spikes out really dominantly, but there's a lot of stuff in there going on.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of subtlety here that... you often drink an Islay whiskey and there's some big, strong, notes right out front that's kind of hard to push past, especially if you're not acclimated to drinking peated whiskeys. But this thing, every time I bring it back up to my nose here, something different kind of pops out. Something different kind of takes the forefront. All right, let me give it a sip here. See how it is
as well.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Oh, wow.
There it is.
Yeah, that's good.
That is... Wow. That is so much more... like, it's sweet, but not cloyingly sweet. It's got like sweet flavors like cinnamon and dried fruit and stuff, but it's also kind of more dry than I thought it would be.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. The peat's right in front, though, eh? Like that was the first thing I got was a heavy ashy peat, and then followed by a lot of flavors. Like a really nice rich cigar.
Yeah, okay, pipe tobacco, cigar tobacco kind of thing, absolutely. Yeah.
But like super rich and like dry fruity.
Yeah, not quite to the point of like totally desiccated, super dry raisins that are like almost devoid of moisture.
There's still juiciness.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that kind of dried fruit, like dried apricots and things like that are just not quite completely dried out to jerky that you can get like, in the bulk section of the store that still have some kind of chew and moisture to them.
A little bit of like almost like cooking spice slathered leather.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like leather that
I got you.
For some reason you've given a baking spice dry rub to.
Yeah, okay, like fruit leather that's not totally dry, but also has a dusting of like cinnamon and clove on there as well. Yeah,
but nothing is so intense that I'm like, that's the spice. So like it's like there's just little subtle things going on.
Right, and there is still that slight kind of coastal character to it that just a little hint of briny saltiness. It's almost like when you're baking something, you're making cookies or a cake or whatever, you always put just a little bit of salt in the baked goods.
Yes,
and that makes it doesn't taste salty per se, but you can tell there's just
locks.
There's just a hint of salt in there to make all the different flavors kind of pop, and that's kind of the impression I get from this here.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's lovely. That is lovely.
There's like a you guys. We mentioned leather already, but there's there's a rubberiness as well.
Okay.
What kind of rubber? Like balloon rubber. At least for me, I'm getting like a weirdness on the outside back on the finish, like a weird rubber.
In sort of a bitter chemical way, or in texture?
Bitter chemical.
Okay.
Not so much texture.
It's sort of like artificial, almost like tinny, like plastic.
So I've started to associate those kind of slightly waxy and or rubbery notes with being oxidative notes. Like there's a lot of oxidation that's gone on in the maturation of the whiskey, and I don't know if that's what I've for some reason I've started to associate that kind of round waxy rubbery thing that happens with oxidation. I don't know if that's true or not, but
I mean it makes sense, but. Yeah, I guess it would depend whiskey to whiskey if that's what the master distiller is doing with them, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sure, like an Iron Root, they put water into their barrels, right? But
as it needs it, yeah,
as it needs it, right? So it could be like one of those like odd things that they let it oxidize a little bit more, maybe.
Yes, absolutely.
Versus the water thing, it's the oxidization. It's like I guess the reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be the reverse because they're filling up the barrel a little bit, right? Reducing the oxidation. Is that how? Am I understanding that right?
So you're kind of talking about the whole élevage process thing that word gets thrown around a lot recently. I feel like, but the élevage process. Isn't really one specific thing. It means to raise or to lift up the spirit or to grow it up, if you will. Right? So that's, if you go to a barrel and it feels like that needs to be proofed down with a little bit of water to extract some different flavors, then that's what that barrel needs, and you add the water in the barrel. Or if you need to move a barrel from near the door where it's warmer to more of the center of the warehouse where it's cooler and the temperature is a little more even because it's getting a little too spicy,
right.
That can be part of the process too. That's my understanding. Is it involves things like proofing down in the barrel, but it's also a lot of other things. It's basically addressing each barrel's needs as individually.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Élevage is what it's called?
Élevage means to elevate or to grow up or to raise.
Élevage just sounds like a weird Amsterdam thing.
Amsterdam thing?
I mean,
like
the
a
French
club,
might feel slightly insulted
exactly.
with that, but sure.
Definitely like a red light district type thing. Will we be allowed to upload this?
I think so. I think we're still okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I said about 20 times by now.
I think I mean, that might get censored, but we'll still be able to.
Oh my god, bleep that. Yeah.
Easily the most offensive part of this
Yeah,
video.
definitely bleep that. No one will know what I'm talking about.
There's a fun idea.
I don't know if you can get this anymore.
I've certainly never seen it in the store.
Probably not easily.
No,
I mean, maybe at auction and you'd pay insane amounts for it, but I wouldn't expect it to be on a shelf anywhere at this point.
Yeah. Funny story, Josh. I don't know if Dave got in touch with you and told you the story about how he came across this bottle. But
I don't think so.
He was in Scotland, and he was in a liquor store, and he was asking if I'm remembering correctly, and I'm sure when Dave watches, he'll probably put the story in the comments. But he was talking with the associate, and the associate almost talked him out of buying this one for another whiskey.
What?
Yeah. And,
No.
And Dave was like, and he didn't know how good this whiskey was. This was, I guess, when it was first released, because it was like 60 pounds or something ridiculous.
Oh, that's insane.
And when he brought it back and tried it, he immediately regretted not buying two, because he was even thinking about getting two. He's like, maybe I'll just get the one just to be safe. And then he got home and it's like, God damn, I should have bought two for the price that I think it was. I think he said 60, 70 pounds, something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't
something insanely ridiculously low for this absolute gem of a whiskey.
What a hell of a story, and thank you so much. So this was debated in Scotland, brought back to Canada, put into a sample bottle, given to Brad. Brad travels to Texas, brings one here, and then now I get to try it. What an epic journey that's been on, right?
It's so good though. It's like it really is like just a great. Like I want to swear, but I don't want to swear because I always edit my swears out. But it's so damn good.
I'm gonna bleep that out too.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah, this is one of those. People talk about how they can sit with a whiskey for an hour or whatever, and just smell it and very slowly sip it. This definitely falls into that camp.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess, Brad, what would your rating be? And we're just gonna go by your rating.
I would rate this as goddamn delicious.
And a half.
That means there's a half. That means that there's a whiskey that's better than this.
There is a whiskey that's better than this.
Oh, which one is that?
I know which one it is.
I'd be hard pressed to say that much of anything in my cabinet is actually better than this. I'd be hard pressed. This has all of the things that I love about a nicely aged Glendronach, like 18 years or older, right? Has all that sort of fruit and spice and all those rich characteristics that have passed the point of just being sort of overly sweet, right? So it's matured nicely. It feels like it's not cloying, but then with the extra peat in there to sort of balance the whole thing out is just glorious.
Mm. Yeah, and it's not an age statement, but there's definitely old whiskey in here.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like the whole thing is old.
No, but there is old in it.
There is a certain amount of freshness to it, but yeah, I agree that it feels like there's definitely some older whiskeys in here.
There's a lot of interplay between that freshness and juiciness that we were talking about before, and this old, musty, rich age. Like it's just they just somehow it just mingles into each other. Where like most times it's like very identifiably separate. These like really just flow in and out of each other really, really well.
Yeah, that's what I come to. I refer to that usually as well integrated.
Yeah.
Right, like the different components aren't just sort of there; they're sort of married together into a cohesive whole.
If there's one thing that people know is that out of the three of us, I'm the worst with words. So,
do I have the best words?
Maybe.
I don't know. Brad makes the descriptions. He's got some really good words.
I occasionally have decent words.
Well, yeah, this was absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, and what a rare treat to be able to have something like this. That's it said 7 casks, right? So
seven first fill. Let me double check that. 7, yeah. No, it doesn't say first fill. 7 Oloroso sherry casks.
Right.
Bottle to cask strength, no chill filtering, no additional coloring, all that stuff.
Well, and that's something we hadn't talked about actually. Is it's 60.1%? So
yeah, we mentioned at the top, but yeah, it doesn't drink.
It doesn't taste like it at all.
No,
it is.
No, it really
it almost like close to like a high 40, like 48, 49.
Yeah, no real spikiness or anything like that to speak of.
No.
Anything that's sort of bright in there kind of comes across to me as a peppery smoke note. Right.
Yeah, I can agree.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was a treat whiskey, man. Though.
Absolutely. Well,
right. We'll call it a video.
Yeah, I think so. Cheers, and I'm so glad to have had the opportunity to try this. This is glorious.
Very good. Yeah, because I'm the only one that ever remembers. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at The Cask Strength.
Yeah, do those things. There'll be links
to
social media stuff down somewhere.
Yeah.
And yeah. Sláinte?
Cheers.
Sláinte.
Thanks, Dave.
Cheers, guys.